We discussed previously this beef between right-wing podcaster Shawn Ryan, who you see on screen there, and MAGA Congressman Dan Crenshaw. And I'll try to get you up to speed if you didn't watch that segment, and then tell you the latest. We had fun with it last time. This isn't a huge deal, but I find it a little bit interesting. So both of them are former Navy SEALs. Both of them are right-wing. So you'd think they get along. But Shawn Ryan started talking about how he believes that Dan Crenshaw is making too much money from trading stocks while in Congress. Obviously, I support, I guess Shawn Ryan wants, a ban on congressional stock trading. Even though Dan Crenshaw is definitely not even close to one of the top contenders for making tons and tons of money compared to some of the people who are currently in Congress. But that's kind of what started the beef. Then Dan Crenshaw was like, hey, that's not true. You're lying about me. I don't insider trade. And then sent him a DM and said, my boys at 6, meaning SEAL Team 6, told me that you've been talking crap about me. And that's such a dramatic photo of him that you just showed. And I would love to talk with you, clear things up or something like that. And then Shawn Ryan took that as a threat that the boys from 6 were going to rough him up. And this is where I'll kind of begin the context before getting to the latest.
Of my issues, I contacted a former SEAL. I won't name names, but he has an eye patch, and he's a congressman out of a state.
You mean Dan Crenshaw?
I'm not naming names.
Another one of my favorite people.
Sir, here's my situation.
You know, Dan actually sent me a message. I should fucking read this to you. But basically, he tells me, I brought something up about him, and I never even I gave him the courtesy of not even mentioning his fucking name. It was about his birthday party, where he hired Steve Aoki to DJ his birthday. I mean, that can't be fucking cheap, right? Especially on a congressman's salary. And I brought that up, and Dan sends me a message that says his boys over at 6 are really upset with me that I brought that up, and they might come beat me up.
His boys at 6.
His boys over at 6.
Well, to infer he's got.
I don't know why a congressman would be threatening me with SEAL Team 6, but I'm still fucking waiting. This is actually a couple years old. I still have not had my ass kicked by a couple of guys over at 6. But
so both this is so ridiculous. You're both grown men. Stop it. Stop. I'm putting my hand on both their heads. Stop it. Say what you will about Dan Crenshaw, and I have plenty to say. But I don't think him saying boys at 6 meant they're going to come skydive through his window and murder him. I don't think that's, or rough him up. I don't think that's, here's the text that he's referencing.
The conversation with Tulsi. That's when I got the text or the message on Instagram from Congressman Crenshaw that I find threatening, telling me he spoke with his boys at 6. Here's a screenshot.
Hey, Shawn.
So it's, hey, Shawn, you have the ability to contact your fellow team guy if you've got a problem with me or you have questions about how I'm getting rich. Some of my boys at 6 told me about your indirect swipe at me. From the comment you made, it sounds like you have some beliefs that are based on trendy narratives instead of facts. And I read, like I told you last time, Dan trying to flex about who his buddies are instead of just going, I saw the clip. Like, you don't need, it's a YouTube video, Dan. Someone told me that you've been privately crapping on me in front of 3 million viewers. Someone told me you've been gossiping about me. Is this true? It's on YouTube. Go watch it. You don't need a boy from 6 to tell you. So he was clearly trying to be like, hey. But also he might be going, we're both former SEALs. We run in circles of SEALs and former SEALs. Like we should have an affinity to one another. So I had to hear through one of what could be a mutual friend that you were trash talking your fellow veteran. You know, maybe that's what he was saying, but Shawn Ryan took it as a threat. So then he posted this video.
I want to make something very clear. I hate drama. I hate influencer drama. I hate internet drama. I hate the theatrics of it. I can't.
So both of them are doing this I hate drama. And just picture drama is a cow with some big old udders, okay? And come on.
I love cows.
And Shawn there's like, I just hate drama. And then he sprints behind the barn and just milks the ever-loving heck out of Bessie, is her name. She's a good cow, but she has a lot of health problems. So her milk sometimes makes you either impotent for a month or extremely horny for a month. But otherwise, it's good milk. So he just sprays it everywhere. And he's like, I hate this. I don't want to be a part of this. But he keeps milking that drama. Have I told this story of when I milked a cow before? I have, I know. I just felt like a man for the first time in my life when I was milking a cow. Because I feel like, listen, I actually do have kind of rough hands. People tell me, like, but it's not because I went and did a bunch of manual labor. I'll be honest, it's not. I didn't do none. I built sheds sometimes. I did the roofing of my own house. More sat with Eliminated. My dad did it, but I was there. But like, I remember really feeling ownership over my own masculinity when I milked that cow. And that's why I bring it up so much, is because it really was a clarifying experience about what it means to be a man. The world is your udder, and you must choose how and when to milk it. But then I had learned so much about consent, and I'm such a believer in it, that I kept asking Bessie, I said, do I have your permission to touch your udders? And Bessie was like, "Meh." So dumb. And I said, that sounded a lot like a no, but was that like a yeah? And Bessie just went, "Meh." And I was like, all right, well, I'll start, like, I can't tell what you're saying, but I'll like start like maybe right near them and then just like say "murr" if you mean murr. Don't say "murr" if you mean murr, because it sounds like you're saying murr, but I don't want to miss. But then I grabbed hold and I took over my own destiny, and that's why I tell the cow story a lot, is my point, okay? But he's milking the drama was my whole point. Click the subscribe button.
I hate drama. I hate influencer drama. I hate internet drama. I hate the theatrics of it. I can't stand it. And so I want to tell you something. The only reason that I'm going up against Crenshaw is I am sick and tired of watching government officials and people in high places try to silence and bully regular American citizens. I'm sick of seeing it. Somebody's got to stand up to this shit. It might as well be me.
Okay. You could try standing up to Trump and his movement. They're kind of a lot of bullies. I don't think Dan DMing you is our biggest concern. He says, I don't want drama. And every one of his Dan Crenshaw videos are like his most watched recently. I hate this stuff. But let me make a part 3. I hate this, but we do have a part 4 coming soon. You get it ahead of time if you do go to our Patreon, Shawn Ryan, whatever. But I just hate, you keep throwing money at me. Stop it. I hate this. It's kind of what he's doing. Now, this is the latest update. 10 minutes in. So they have that going back and forth. Then they go, what if we debated in person about this? And I still don't know what this is, I guess they're debating whether or not Dan threatened him, whether or not Dan is improperly making money while in office through trading stocks, even though that would be allowed right now unless you were doing inside trading, but it should be banned. So it'd be good if he just voluntarily did it. Maybe they would bring up one time Dan Crenshaw was like, I'm going to kill Tucker Carlson if I see him. And maybe they talk about why Dan Crenshaw had Steve, who was that? The DJ?
Steve Aoki.
Steve Aoki. I just thought of so many just terrible, ridiculous jokes. Okie dokie. Would be one of them. Who am I? I don't know what's happening. And they could debate that, right? So then they start going back and forth. Apparently behind the scene, like their lawyers are discussing whether or not they can schedule a conversation at Shawn Ryan's studio. Dan books his ticket, but then Shawn Ryan posts this video saying Dan is playing funny games, engaging in funny business, but then Dan says that he's engaging in funny business.
It's 2026, and this is not how I wanted to kick my new year off, but...
Wait, one more time. Ready? One more time. Ready?
Drama. I hate influencer drama. I hate internet drama.
Okay, wait, ready? Wait, ready?
It's 2026, and this is not how I wanted to kick my new year.
Wait, ready?
Something very clear. I hate drama. It's 2026, and this is not how I wanted to...
I just hate it.
Kick my new year off.
I just hate this. I have to walk around in this beautiful forest, and I own 3 zillion acres probably, and in this beautiful air, and I have to just fund all of this by making another video. It's just, I hate it. I love how he started both videos. You know I hate doing this. You know it. But then I know he does it because he made a follow-up video, and the follow-up video was just the same stuff. It was him in a different location rehashing the same drama. I think both Dan and him are loving it. Milk Bessie, baby.
It's 2026, and this is not how I wanted to kick my new year off. But here we are. It's one of those times where I need to be honest and transparent with you guys, because I always have been. Whenever I make a mistake, I take ownership of it, and I apologize to those that were affected, whether I like them and respect them or not, because that's the right thing to do.
That's the other quirk of Shawn that always cracks me up, is his self-congratulatory. And I don't have anything against him personally, by the way. I'm just like, this is just kind of a fun thing to toy around with, like an udder. But I'm saying I want to talk about this drama. I'm not going to say I hate drama. I don't like being a part of drama. I like talking about drama. You know? Y'all know what I mean. You know when like there's good gossip, but it's not anything you're starting or furthering, you just get to listen to it? Great. But he'll do these, look, immediate release, own your shit. And it'll be like 2 minutes or like a long build up where he goes, you just got to own when you make a mistake.
You know, it always sucks when you make a mistake, when you said something you shouldn't have, when you hurt somebody unintentionally, or, I don't know, said something that wasn't true. And then comes a point in time where, and we've all been there, right? There comes a point in time where you have to make a decision. And the decision is whether you are going to man the fuck up and admit your mistakes, or if you are going to be a little bitch and cower away and fucking hide from your mistakes and hope that everybody forgets. And today is one of those humbling days for me where I fucked up. I said some shit that was...
So he was apologizing for something random, but he did it again here where it's like, you don't have to congratulate yourself for admitting that you're wrong for a minute before you admit that you're wrong. Now here he's doing kind of like a hook where he's like, you got to admit when you're wrong sometimes, and I got to be transparent. But here I'm transparently correct. Hey, down.
Ownership of it, and I apologize to those that were affected, whether I like them and respect them or not, because that's the right thing to do, and that's what a man does. And so what do I need to talk to you about? I need to talk to you about the Dan Crenshaw situation. As many of you know, he sent me a cease and desist threatened to sue me. I made a rebuttal. I invited him on.
I do apologize. I missed that detail. After Shawn said that Dan threatened SEAL Team 6 to beat him up, Dan sent him a legal letter saying, stop it and retract.
Just threatened to sue me. I made a rebuttal. I invited him on the show. Then he challenged me. I accepted. I said, okay, perfect. January 2nd. To come on this show, you have to sign a release form. Just about everybody let me rephrase that. Everybody that's been on this show since around episode 10 has signed a release form. President Trump, J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, Joe Kent, lots of very important people, much more important than a congressman, have signed that release form. Everybody that has been interviewed in the new studio has signed the exact same release form. So, Dan Driscoll, Secretary of the Army, signed the exact same release form. Mike Waltz, former National
We get it. You have cool guests on. We get it.
Security Advisor and Ambassador to the UN, signed the exact same release form just a few days ago. Dan and his attorneys, they don't want to sign the release form. They want special concessions. We sent them that release form on December 26th. They then sent a bunch of red lines. We said, we're not making any special circumstances or modifying our release form for the congressman. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. But we will make some special concessions for his protection on another document and send that over. Well, they have yet to sign either one of those documents. I have to have those documents signed to interview somebody. Everybody's done it.
I mean, it's like good practice. We don't all the time. You know what we do? We sit down. We do. We do whatever you think we need to do. But we've had, with people, when we interview people, we've looked into it. It's like, if you go on and I go, all right, you're on my show, you've lost all your power. It's not like they can go, well, I didn't. Yeah, you did. You were sitting in front of the lights, you goober. Well, they told me that I would have editing power. Well, where is that in writing? Okay, well then, bye-bye. Now, if you want to get the person who owns the show to give you certain concessions, then getting it in writing, I think is really important. But like we used to, when we went to rallies, wonder, do we have to get release forms? But then it was like they're giving consent if they keep talking to you. Maybe that's not true. If you're a young YouTuber out there, don't take my word for it. I'm just saying you could have just debated him. Do the release form. But then Dan's going to say this is not true, and we'll get to his response in a second.
I talked to my attorney. I said, I think this is what's going to happen. They are going to wait until close of business on New Year's Eve to send some type of a communication in hopes that we don't get it, because who the hell is checking their email at 10 o'clock at night on New Year's Eve? Well, guess what? We get an email at 10 o'clock at night from Dan's campaign manager on New Year's Eve, where the next day is a national holiday and nobody's behind their desk. And the next day, it's game day, it's interview time. They said, we've booked the hotel that you've recommended. Will somebody be there to pick us up? There was no mention of the release forms. So here's what's going to happen. They're going to come here and they're going to make a big stink on how I didn't interview them and how I was scared to interview them or whatever, but they're hiding behind the paperwork. And so now this is what's going to happen. Dan, I am now redacting my invitation for you.
Revoking is the word you're looking for. Redacting. Shawn Ryan redacts. Shawn Ryan redacted to a podcast episode. They redact the word invited. Revokes your offer. That's funny. Got redactions on the brain with the whole Trump Epstein stuff.
This is what's going to happen. Dan, I am now redacting my invitation for you to come on my show. I gave you the opportunity to be a man. You didn't take it. I gave you the opportunity to speak to 5.5 million people and prove to them that you are not insider trading. That's a fucking gift, I might add. A gift that not very many people get, and you turned it down.
I gotta get my confidence better, because we have a big show. He probably has more subscribers. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, he said he has 5.5 million. That's very impressive. But he brings a level of, like, when I send someone an invitation to my show, I never go, "Dear blah blah blah, dear Barack Obama, would you like the pleasure and the honor of sitting in the same room with one of the world's most iconic podcasters? Would you like the opportunity that many people in your position will never get? Bill Clinton has been knocking on my door daily, and I say no. Joe Biden, do you know, dear Obama, do you know how often I look at my Ring camera and I see this? Folks, how do I get into this gizmo? You in there, Mr. Beast? You probably never even milked a cow before."
You're the sucker. You're the loser.
Interview me. And I say no, but I will give you the distinct experience of a lifetime to come on my podcast. I gotta try that. Maybe we would get bigger guests if I spoke that way. That's crazy to go, "I think you're insider trading, but if you want to prove me wrong, come on my show. Get me views." That would be an honor for you.
I'm not going to interview you now. I don't play games. I handle shit like a man.
Okay, he's now said 3 references to being a man. He is more of a man than I'll ever be. I get it. We addressed that last time, and I had a slip up. Serve the country. I admire them so much for that. Incredible, trained, admirable people in that way. But I find it weird in 2026, when you're just talking about canceling an invitation to an interview, you saying, "I'm a man, you need to be a man, I handle things like a man." It feels a little weird to me. It's great. I'm fine with it. It's not like, "What about women?" No. That's not what I'm saying. It's fine to use that phrase. I think we got to bring that back of, like, being, if you're talking to a man, you can say, "Be a man." It doesn't mean like be a toxic man or whatever. Doesn't mean be bad to women. You could just be like, be what you believe a man should be. And that can be so different depending on the person. Hey, be a man. Now, be a man, son. Now, here's your drag queen outfit, right? Like, it could be anything, but you still have to do it with high character. So, I just think the way he's using it is a little strange.
You know,
maybe I just am like hearkening back to whenever male role models in my life would say that to me. It's like, "Be a man." I'm like, I'm trying.
Like a man. You know, here's another thing. When we talked to your campaign manager, they said, "Oh, we send a lot of these letters out, and usually this takes care of it." Now, I told everybody, about a week, 2 weeks ago, this is what you do, Dan. You're a bully. You bully people into submission. Anybody that scrutinizes you, you send them a nastygram, and you threaten to sue them, and that works.
Not Shawn Ryan just dropping a new Gen Z term. That's going to be all over TikTok in 2 months. Nastygram? Did he just hit you with a nastygram? That's like Finsta.
Send them a nastygram, and you threaten to sue them, and that works. Unfortunately, it didn't work on me. And so for my audience, what I've done is I've just exposed how much of a bully Dan Crenshaw.
Oh, and I'm the idiot. Oh, ha ha ha, Luke's the idiot. You just got 15 seconds to think that. Nastygram is a particularly offensive email message. Hey. You know, I've always believed that being a man requires you to own up. Own your shit. You poop it out and you buy it. And you own it. You admit when you're wrong. You know, you have two options whenever you get something wrong. You can curl up like a little baby. Oh, I'm a baby. Mommy, give me my biggie. Or you can stand with two balls between your legs and fess up. I was doing a podcast on my wildly successful show that former presidents such as Biden and Clinton dream of getting on. And I said something about nastygram, a term I had not heard before. You get the point. Okay. And I think you get it. Apparently that's a term I didn't know. Hey, well, maybe it's because that's an old term. You ever thought of that? I had to, you know what I did? I probably knew that at one point, but then this is out, this is in, right? Someone was like, hey, Luke, do you know what Riz is? Put that one in. Nastygram popped out. Oh, Luke, face card in. Baguette out. Thou out. Now we get to Dan Crenshaw's response. And he's also doing an outdoor video. I don't know why no one has indoors, but they don't. And he has some nice glasses on. And he is saying that Shawn is not telling the truth. Let's see.
So, of course, Shawn Ryan is backing out. A lot of people said he would. I thought he would. And now he's making claims, false claims, that, again, are easily disprovable when I will show you the evidence of the emails back and forth between us. Shawn, giving you one last chance. I can still make my flight to Nashville, but I've only got maybe half an hour to do so. You know very well that we agreed to your terms on Monday. We have all the email evidence to prove it. The only special privilege that was asked for was actually from you guys, from your attorney. You asked that we waive any right to hide behind the what's called the speech and debate clause. And in Congress, if you make a if you make a speech on the floor, you can't be sued for it. Of course, it doesn't even apply here. But we said, sure, we'll sign it. Just send us the updated language. Your lawyer said on Monday, we'll send the updated language. You never sent us anything to sign. Nothing. You claim that we wanted all this other special treatment. The only thing we took out of the original contract was liability waivers on ATVs, because we're not going to ride any ATVs. Okay, and then you guys freaked out about that, and so we said, fine, we'll do it your way. On Monday, we agreed to everything you wanted. Everything. On Monday.
This is so dumb. And I said, we don't need to ride ATVs together. What is Shawn Ryan normally doing before his podcasts? Just driving around in the ATVs? That's so funny. Let me go show you the creek that I film all my apologies videos at. It's pretty cool.
Don't try to confuse people by talking about some email on New Year's Eve. That was from my campaign manager to your producer, just checking in, saying, hey, we're good to go. We've got our flights. We're ready. That was all that email was. Don't pretend like that was some last minute thing. You guys said on Monday you'd send us the updated stuff. We said we'd agree to it. I have a flight to Nashville this afternoon coming out of Virginia Beach. Still want to do this or not, buddy? Or are you too scared? Maybe you looked into all the facts and realized they weren't really on your side. I don't know. Let's figure it out. That was the whole point. Out.
Oh. I haven't heard that in a long time. That was kind of like pwned, something I hadn't heard in a very long time. Listen to this. Watch this, guys. Ready?
Out.
Out. Like he's saying I'm done. Or like what is it? Dan Roger, what's the thing you say on a walkie-talkie when you start and finish? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Isn't it out? Jaden out?
Yeah, maybe. What's the one when you're talking? When you start? Hi. What do you start with? Doesn't matter. Point is, I do think Dan Crenshaw posted. You hate to do it. I want to be able to root for the young buck podcaster who's just trying to stand up to the bully, you know? But he did post some pretty convincing receipts. So he did purchase his flight. If he's going to be in Nashville to go to just have him on. Just like he can walk in and you can go, here's the sheet of paper, sign it. And then y'all could do it. Because that'd be a fun interview. And then it goes through how Shawn's lawyer reached out, then his response, and and this is all before this was last Monday, all up until last Monday it looks like. Friday, December 26th. And it's like, hey, here's some things in the contract we want to take out. On the waiver of liability and NDA, we remove the waiver language that applies to use of ATVs on the property, which Crenshaw will not be engaging in. Then they said, we don't want any red lines, don't change anything. And then he was like, hey, also, we don't like the part that says Crenshaw agrees to defend and indemnify Mr. Ryan's company against any. So they're taking a little issue with, which is so excessive, but you're going to record a video and post it. When do you ever get into... When has anyone ever agreed to go on a show and gotten in a dispute over it? You know what I mean? As long as you just specify, even on camera, you could say, but then that could be edited out. But, you could film on your own with your phone, the two of you, and go, hey, just promise me you won't edit this to remove any content. You can just edit camera angles. Or if that's your concern, this is just a little much. So he's posting. It does look like he mostly told the truth in that video about them going back and forth, and then the team on Ryan's side being like, we don't really want to change stuff. But ultimately, it looked like still Crenshaw's team was like, let's do it. You said in your email on Monday that you would be inserting a paragraph of special language into the waiver, and I responded that we are fine with that language. Are you seriously claiming that despite you saying that you were going to insert your special language in, which, how special is this language? They keep specifying that, which we agreed to, that instead of responding to me, you were waiting on me inserting special language for you to have my client sign a waiver with me adding language on your behalf, but with your approval. Again, if you me a waiver with your new language now, we can still get it executed this afternoon, and then ultimately looks like it's not going to work. So that's where this whole dispute is not ending, but that's where it is right now. And then speaking of inner right-wing beef, here is Alex Jones, ladies and gentlemen, declaring war against Candace Owens. Here we go.
I remember saying to them, like I said, I got to investigate her now. I got a bad feeling. I didn't have a bad feeling. God gave me a good brain. I already knew. I dropped the ball. I apologize. She's a globalist agent. I dropped the ball and I failed you, and I'm sorry. I got to follow my gut every time. It's never wrong. And I saw so much more she did.
You're on the hook for $1 billion because of how wrong your gut was. Okay? $1 billion because you were so wrong. Whatever. But this is fun to see him calling out Candace Owens.
So much more she did. And I love her people threatening me and all their doxing of people and all that. You think that's going to make me go away? All you did was wake me up like a nuclear test site waking up Godzilla. So just get your asses ready Because you want a war, I want your war, I want it all, I want the doxing, I want the lies, I want the attacks, I'm going to take you on. Because you work for the deep state and the Democratic Party and the CIA and MI6, and I see your ass. So you just get ready. This ain't my first rodeo.
Say what you will about Candace Owens, and I have said a lot. It seems a little strange that the CIA and such would want to plant Candace Owens to accuse them of murdering Charlie Kirk. That feels a little weird when she's saying all those organizations are in on it. But yeah, I mean, maybe she's a secret plant. You just never know now. I love it. I hate it. This is terrible for our critical thinking skills, but I love watching them all lob what they used to lob just at the other side at each other, where it's, you're a Fed, you're a Fed, you're a Fed, you're CIA, you're FBI, you're a part of the globalists, you're a part of the deep state, pedophile, right? And now that's just all flying at each other, and I'm kind of like, this is bad for our overall discourse, but it's kind of nice having a break of it being lobbed at us.